as well as
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Vehicle pitching downrange.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Booster Raptor, chamber pressure nominal.
30 seconds into the flight, the rumble's just starting to reach us here at launch control.
Booster and ship, avionics power, telemetry nominal.
33 Raptor engines.
Max Q.
Vehicle
All right, we're
reached
just a little over a minute
maximum
into flight.
dynamic pressure.
We're about
The most stress the vehicle's
6
gonna
miles
see on the
away,
way
so
uphill.
all the sound's still hitting us here. Hearing good call outs at power telemetry nominal. That's flying straight and true. We do see all 33 Raptor engines lit up on telemetry screens.
All right, our next
At
major
this point, we've
milestone coming up
passed
is
through
going to
that
be
point
hot
of
staging.
maximum
We're going
aerodynamic
to see
pressure,
the
that
engines
max
ignite
Q.
on ship to push it away from the booster.
Now coming up in just a little over a minute from now is going to be hot staging. So we're going to see the 6 engines on the ship ignite while still attached to the booster. Just before that, we'll see all but 3 center engines on the booster shut down.
All right, so hot
we
staging
call
is going to
MECO,
be the
it's
next
most
thing
engines
coming
cut
up.
off
First,
instead
we're
of
going to see
main
the
engine.
booster's engines start to shut down.
And so while we
but
continue to
3.
watch it go up, a lot of our flight controllers
We're going to do
looking
what's
at all
called
the
most
systems
engines
around the
cut off
tower.
instead of
Again, we
main
have to
engine cut
send
off, 'cause 3 are going to
a
keep going.
manual command.
And then we're going to see the engines on ship ignite.
Just about 30 seconds away from hot staging.
Right now, the tower team is doing their go, no go. And we might hear some really good words soon, too. All right.
And we
You can
heard
still see it up behind
we
me.
heard
That is
the
one of the most
tower
gorgeous things
is
I've
go
ever
for
seen in my
catch.
entire
Booster
life.
coming
Coming up with
the
hot
return
staging
flag
next.
is set for true.
Ship engine
There's
start up,
both
engine
engines
start
cut
up.
off.
Stage separation.
Stage separation.
Booster
Stage separation.
All right,
Hot
hot
stage.
staging confirmed.
Booster
6 out of 6
separation
lit on the
confirmed.
ship. Booster boost back going. We heard that we are go for catch.
Ship under its own power.
Kate, Jesse,
I'm
take
seeing
the
6
views.
out of
Hopefully I got a
6
booster
Raptors lit.
coming home real
Hopefully I
soon.
got a booster on the way
From
back
our
to
view
me. I'm
here,
going to send it
Dan,
to you guys in Hawthorne.
great views of planet Earth behind that super
that
heavy
was
booster.
absolutely incredible.
Right now,
I
it is
loved how the
performing
crowd
the
came
boost back
Pressure
burn.
nominal.
crowd here in Hawthorne.
Good news there,
all
telling
went,
us that
"Ooh,"
the,
at the first view
pressures
of the blue flame
inside
from
the ship
booster.
are good. That is the
As you can
second
see
stage
there,
or the upper portion of the vehicle. Follow along with the telemetry
First
on the
stage
bottom of your screen.
currently performing, or excuse me, is
Yeah,
now
booster
making
is
its way
currently, Super Heavy
back
is
to,
currently
the
in
launch
its boost
site.
back
Again,
burn.
we
This
are-
boost back burn,
The booster
this boost back
and the
burn
tower are
lasts
both
just a
performing
little
automated
bit
checks
over
to
a
make sure we
minute,
are go
so we've
for
got
the
a
booster
little,
to return to the
approximately
launch pad.
30 seconds left.
We've had shutdown of that boost back burn. Up next will be hot stage jettison. The view from the camera on the left, or from the booster on the left-hand side of
We
your
did
screen,
hear that the
and then
tower
tracking
is
camera
go
on the
for
right-hand
catch.
side
So
of the screen.
that was one of the
You'll see
big
those grid
criteria
fins.
we were
Booster
looking
offshore
for.
divert.
And we can also see that the
We'll wait
hot
to
stage
hear
has
that
been
the-
jettisoned.
Yes,
We'll wait to
visual
hear that
confirmation
the
of that there on your
gopher
screen, which is
catch has
great.
been sent.
Now the next
Starship is following a nominal trajectory.
Beautiful view here from the
The
ship.
next step for booster is going into that landing burn.
And
Again,
so
it'll light up
exciting to hear
13
that
of
we
those
got a
engines
go for
and
booster
then
catch. That means it's going to be a
pare
really
down to
exciting
3
morning.
engines
Again,
right before
the booster
booster
is
catch.
making
All right,
its
now just
way
real quick,
back
we did hear the
towards,
call out.
now
Boost
land,
back, or excuse me,
in order
booster
to make
offshore
that
divert.
catch attempt in the
Unfortunately,
tower.
that means that we are no-go for the catch. As we said before,
So
both the
incredible to see
tower
these
and the
views. You
vehicle,
can see the
as
ship
well
on the
as
right-hand
the
side of your
operators
screen.
on
All 6
console
Raptor
have been
engines
actively
are,
evaluating
under
the
full power.
criteria for that return
Once
to
again,
the watchtower.
ship, the booster
And
is
unfortunately,
making its way
we did
back
not have a
to
pass
the
on those
launch
commit
site. We are
criteria, so we
going
are
to
no-go
try
for
and
tower
it
catch.
using the chopsticks
And we
on
did
the
mention
launch tower,
that
the
we're
exact same tower that
constantly
it just launched
evaluating
from
the criteria
just,
for
wow,
catch. There's a
5 minutes
lot of
ago.
things that need to go well in order to line that up. Unfortunately,
Yeah, the
today we will
Starship on nominal
forego
trajectory.
booster
I
catch
can
today.
confirm
But what you're seeing
the
on your
command
screen
was
is
sent
ship
for the booster to come
currently
back.
making its
That
way
is
towards the Indian
incredible.
Looking up
Ocean.
right
Still
now.
looking good so far.
It's
Exactly.
pretty much right
So views
overhead
there
of us, and we
of
can
the
see it's
booster
starting to come
on the
down.
left-hand side of your screen, views of the ship on the right-hand side of your
I
screen.
can't wait for us to
Now,
hear
we
the
said
sonic
before
boom
that
through
it was not
Dan's mic.
guaranteed that we would be able to make
That is going to be
a
incredible.
tower
It was
catch
so cool
today.
to
So,
hear the lift
well,
off.
we were hoping for it. Like we
And
said,
so
it
once
was pretty
again,
epic on attempt one,
a
but
successful
the
on-time
safety
liftoff
of the
Starship
teams
Flight
and the
5.
public and
The ship,
the
has
pad
separated
itself
from the
are
booster. The booster is
paramount.
there
So
on your screen.
we are
It is
accepting
making
no
its way
compromises
back
in any of
to
those
the launch
areas.
site. We are
Exactly,
going
and
to
we're still
attempt
going to get a
the
lot
catch
of
using the
good
chopsticks.
flight
We did hear
data
the
with
confirmation
booster even,
that the
but
command
especially
was
with
sent
ship.
to
Again,
the
we have an
tower.
additional objective
We are
today to
go
do
for
an
catch.
in-space relight of a Raptor engine,
order to-
which
Guys,
again
we
will
should
help us
just be
set us up for
30 seconds
being able to do
away from
deorbit burns,
landing.
which is
Ship chamber pressure nominal.
It's going to happen in 3 phases.
which
We're
is
gonna land
important
13
for orbital
engines,
flights.
burn
And what
off
you're
all of that
seeing
velocity.
on your
Oh, we
screen
can
is a
see it
view
coming
from
down through the
Super
plume.
Heavy as it's making its way back down to Earth.
Yeah, once again, we are attempting an offshore landing of the Super Heavy booster. So we have seen this before, and it is still very fun to watch, watching it come down for a soft splashdown
You can see how
off
fast this
the
vehicle
Gulf
is
Coast of
moving
Texas.
on the left hand.
You can see it there re-entering. We saw earlier those grid fins were for hypersonic defense. So we can see that the landing burn has begun on the Super Heavy booster.
With the same pattern, 13 engines were light, gone down to 3 just as we expected. And what an incredible view of splashdown that we got today of Super Heavy.
Yeah, I'm sure the buoy cam views will be pretty awesome once again. So we'd like to confirm a water landing once again for the Super Heavy booster. Congrats to the SpaceX team for making that milestone as well. Now, ship continues to look good. We can see that it is, while all of that was happening, the crowd here in Hawthorne continuing to react to all these amazing views that we're getting. The next milestone is
losing our stuff up
Starship
here.
is terminal
great
guidance.
news there.
Guys,
Starship terminal
I'm
guidance,
sorry,
referring to what we see here
even
on
at
the
this
screen, the
day
upper
and
stage,
age, what we just
at
saw, that
about
looked like magic.
8 minutes 35 seconds or so, we have ship engine cutoff, which would be the cutoff of the Raptor engines.
Still going wild over here over this. Folks, this is a day for the engineering history books.
We can see on our screen ship giving us some incredible
live
views
view
brought to us
of the
by
Super Heavy booster
Starlink.
as it has just been
This view is also
successfully
very
caught
interesting
back at
because
the
we can
very
see
same launch
basically
tower that it
the
just came
receding
from.
tile line that we
Dan,
referred
I
to
love
earlier,
this.
where
You
we
are
mentioned we have
reflecting exactly
removed
what
a number
everybody
of
else here
heat
in
shield
Hawthorne,
tiles in order to
except
test out
maybe a little more,
and
'cause you got to
push
see
the
with your own
envelope on the
eyes.
ship and demonstrate
How
what
was
its
that?
capabilities are.
We
Ship engine
got
cut
it,
off.
but I mean, like,
And there we just heard call out for SECO, ship engine
I
cutoff.
can't even describe
Great
that.
news there.
Ship,
Everything continuing to look
main engine
awesome
cut off, ships in
for
orbit, but
ship.
Full view looking aft
I
on
am
ship
like
here.
shaking right now. That was
Ship
Yeah,
FTS is safe.
This is not,
yeah.
I mean,
let's
it's
check in on ship.
it's hard to
Nominal
believe
orbit
that.
Starship nominal
There's
orbit
that call out we
insertion.
were waiting
All
for.
right, exciting news
Confirmation
there.
of
It's hard to
good
believe that,
orbital insertion
booster
for
isn't
ship
the only
today.
excitement that we have today. Just
It has
confirmation
been
there.
a very
gorgeous view of
exciting
planet Earth
afternoon
behind,
so far.
the ship.
We'd like to send it back over
And it
to
is now
Dan, who can give
in
us
the
that
orbit that we expected it to.
live view
This is just an
experience. Dan,
incredible day. Live
once again,
views
are
there
you okay
as the
after
booster
witnessing
vents,
another
some pressures
Starship
there.
launch?
That is a live
Yeah,
view from the top of the
totally
tower,
fine.
looking at the chopsticks.
It's
I am
you guys
still
have
in
to be
disbelief.
jealous.
I'm
This is
trying
the
to
only
catch
way
my
to do
tears,
this. This is
just like
fantastic.
the
No, it was
chopsticks
really cool to
off
see
the
a lift
booster.
off 33 out of 33.
It has
Didn't go
been
for the booster catch
nonstop
today. Initially, we were good, and then we tripped the commit criteria and did the offshore divert. So we went and did that water landing, as everybody saw.
Everything that's been
We'll
happening
dig
so
into
far
it a
this
little bit
morning.
more. But
the booster
again, this
having
is, we've
completed
done it
its
once,
job
we've now
for
done it
today,
twice. We're
we
going to
are
keep
going
trying
to
to do
take
it,
a
as this
short
is just a
break
core
for the
capability of
next
Starship
30 minutes.
and what's
We'll
going to make it
return
so
back
incredible.
At T+40
There's a
minutes
lot
while the
left.
ship
We're
continues
just
to
about
coast
almost
before
10
re-entry.
minutes into this flight.
Oh man!
So about
and
50
as
plus
with
minutes
previous
still to
flights,
go.
Starlink
Ship
may
nominal
actually
orbit, so it's
enable
on
us
its
to
way
talk
around the
with the ship
planet.
through
It's going to
re-entry
attempt to
with
do
no
an in-space
communication
burn. We're going to
blackout.
light
We, of
one of
course,
those
are still
Raptor
testing
engines, the
Starlink
sea
during
level
this
ones in
phase
the
of
middle,
flight, so nothing
just
is
to help
certain.
demonstrate
But
that
if
we
we
can
do have
relight
views,
in
we'll
that
be sure to bring
microgravity
those
environment.
to you live.
Really critical for deorbit
Views
burns
or no
as we
views,
start
we'll
to
see you
do
back
some
here at
orbital
T+40
missions
minutes for
in the not too
coverage of
distant future.
Starship's re-entry,
And then following
flip
that, we'll
maneuver,
see
landing burn,
a ship
and a
entry,
splashdown.
maybe a splashdown. As you guys said, we're really going to be pushing ship on this one. We're pretty much intentionally putting it in places where we expect it might not do so great, and all that's to try and help us learn, see if we were a little too conservative, and then maybe that opens up more capability for when we start catching them. But I'll check back in with everybody in a little bit. I'm going to tune in and watch the ship fly around planet Earth, and hopefully we see it re-entering in the not too distant future. Back over to you guys.
Thanks, Dan. Development testing, by definition, is unpredictable, which we saw with Super Heavy splashing down in the Gulf of Mexico today, but that is exactly why we test. As is standard for these tests, the area around the pad and along the flight path was cleared prior to launch, and we expect the road and beach to remain closed until further notice.
Yeah, testing development flight hardware in a flight environment is what enables our teams to quickly learn and execute design changes and hardware upgrades to improve the probability of success in the future. Please do not attempt to approach the booster in the water for your safety as well as for that of our team that will be working on recovery. Now, we are going to continue though. The mission is not done.
Exactly. The mission's not over. Ship is still coasting, but it has been nonstop since liftoff. And with the booster having completed its job for the day, we are going to take a short break for the next 35 minutes or so while ship continues to coast before re-entry. Now, as with previous flights, Starlink may enable us to talk to the ship through re-entry with no communication blackout. Now, we are still testing Starlink during this phase of flight, so nothing is completely certain.
Yeah, so if we do have views, we will be sure to bring those to you live. And of course, one of those views include that of our, as we said before, surprise payload, the Banana. And we are looking forward to it. So we're going to come back in a few minutes, around T+35 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Views or no views, we'll see you back here at T+40 minutes for our coverage of Starship's re-entry, flip maneuver, landing burn, and hopefully see a splashdown. welcome back to Starship's 5th flight test. It has been an exciting day so far. Even the crowd here is still so excited. We lifted off from Starbase at 7:25 a.m. Central Time. The Super Heavy booster and ship had a successful separation, as well as a good boost back burn and good separation of the hot stage adapter. The Super Heavy booster then completed the landing burn with 13 Raptor engines igniting and slowing down the vehicle perfectly for Mechazilla to catch the Super Heavy booster for the first ever land recovery of the vehicle.
We still have, in about 48 minutes, the ship will re-enter. The flap, all the flaps that will today, not that could. The ship will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. Now, as a reminder, one of the main goals of today's test flight is for the ship to make it through the extreme heat of re-entry and to do so in a controlled manner. We learned a lot about this phase during Flight 4 and, as a result, completely reworked the heat shield, but more on all that in just a minute. Now, re-entry is typically a portion of flight where we don't have communications with the spacecraft because re-entering, it'll be re-entering at about 8 kilometers per second, or about 5 miles per second of roughly orbital velocity. Now, those speeds, the spacecraft moving through the atmosphere results in friction and creates a plasma field around the vehicle. We saw this in action on Flight 4 thanks to Starlink, and wow, it was breathtaking. The blanket of plasma ends up distorting communication frequency, so it's not uncommon to experience brief blackouts in communication, but hopefully that's not the case today.
And Kate, that's where Starlink has just kind of been just the unsung hero and the MVP of this test campaign. I mean, it's able to give us data, not just awesome video, but also data in real time as we're going through re-entry. I mean, this is something that throughout the history of spaceflight just hasn't been possible. And this is an environment that is so unforgiving, so hard to model, so hard to understand. And for the first time ever, we're able to literally watch as it unfolds in real time, get that data in real time. And we're able to do that with Starlink. And it's great for us because we get to see something. We get to see the greatest light show on the planet or off the planet. But what it means for this program, we're able to learn tremendous amounts about our heat shield, our angle of attack, everything that we're doing as we're coming in through the atmosphere at hypersonic speeds. And it's, you can't just thank it enough. And also, special shout out, you're gonna see some additional flap camera views. We've got a really amazing team of avionics, cameras, electronics, software people who made all that possible. And so hopefully they're going to give us an even better show on the way in today as we're coming in at about 5 times the speed of sound.
Yeah, those flaps, Dan, that you see there, that's what's helping.
Starship is in a good attitude for entry, approaching the entry interface.
Some good call-outs there, preparing for re-entry for Starship. And again, that's what Dan was mentioning, those flaps on the vehicle. And if you've been watching us for the last few minutes, you could see that the flaps were rotating around and helping orient the vehicle as it prepares for the beginning of re-entry today.
Yeah, exactly. Re-entry will be enabled by that heat shield that you see on the bottom half. That heat shield is made up of 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles, and they are designed to insulate the vehicle during atmospheric entry. At that point in time, temperatures can be as high as 26,000 degrees Fahrenheit or about 1,400 degrees Celsius. The design itself also permits for rapid reuse with no refurbishment between the flights. And fun fact that I think is just incredible in terms of scale, but the heat shield alone on the ship has a total mass of 10.5 tons, which is crazy because these things are really lightweight. They're made out of ceramic. We have a couple of them here. The one that I'm holding is used on flat surfaces, as let's see if we go that way, because as it's flat. The one that Jesse has is kind of more what you see there on the side.
Yeah, exactly. And having these different shapes, the flat version and the curved version, allow us to cover a lot more of the surface area of the vehicle. Again, we need to protect every portion of it. So even those curved surfaces, and especially the hinge area, if you watched Flight 4, is really what we want to make sure that we protect. And yeah, Kate, these are very, very lightweight.
But when you put 18,000 of them together, they add up to 10.5 tons, which is incredible. Now, we did mention earlier that the heat shield has been completely reworked.
Starship has entered the atmosphere, remains on a nominal entry trajectory.
We can start to see that plasma now.
Welcome back
build
to
up on the
Starship
side.
6
It's not
test
quite
flight.
full plasma
It
yet,
has been an
but
exciting day so
are
far. We
starting
lifted
to
off
see
from
that
Starbase at
color
4
indicate,
p.m. Central
that the
Time.
heat is
The
building
Super Heavy
up
booster
on the
and
heat
ship
shield.
had a successful separation as well as a
such
good
cool
boost
sight to
back
see,
burn
'cause you really
and good separation of the
never
hot
really have
stage
gotten to see
adapter.
this live
We did
before,
not attempt a return
before
to the launch site and
Flight
catch
4.
the attempt today when
and
strict
as
criteria
Kate
were not
mentioned,
met,
it's
and the Super
a
Heavy
little more
booster
red, as you can
executed
see
a
there on your
planned
screen. That means that
divert
heat is
to a
building up.
landing
But
burn
that's
and
exactly
soft
what these
splashdown
heat shield
in the
tiles
Gulf of
are there
Mexico.
for, is to protect Yeah, against
obviously,
this
we were
plasma and
hoping to
this
come back to the
really,
tower,
really
but
extreme heat
this
that
was
the
a
vehicle
test,
is
and we
going to
knew
see
that it was
for
a very
about the
viable
next,
possibility.
Starship is at 85 kilometers. Flaps now have control of the vehicle.
The ship will attempt
All right, great
to
news there,
light
turning
the
our
three
attention
center
over to
Raptor
the
engines.
star of the
And
show
those are the
here,
engines
giving
that
us
can
these
gimbal
amazing
or
views once again.
maneuver or point,
We
and
heard
they
the
do
call
that
out
to
there
help
telling
flip
us
the
that
ship
the Starship vehicle
until
is
the
now
engines
83
point down
kilometers above,
so that it can
coming up
land
around
using
T
the Raptor's
plus,
thrust in the ocean.
well,
so that
now
will happen
actually,
after
the
we get through
ship, as you
this
can see, is
re-entry
beginning
period.
to re-enter
Again, now
the
starting
Earth's
to see.
atmosphere.
We also might start
As a reminder,
to see
one of the main goals
flaps
of today's
actuate
flight
a little
test
bit
is
here,
for the ship
as
to make it through the
vehicle
extreme
controls its
heat
role,
of re-entry
during
and to do so
re-entry.
in
That
a
was one of the
controlled
main
manner.
learning points
Now,
from
re-entry
Flight
is typically a
3
portion of
was
flight where
the
we
rope
don't have
control,
communication
didn't work quite as well as we
with
wanted
the
it to.
spacecraft
We learned that we needed
because
some
it's re-entering
redundancies.
at or
So we
around
added more
orbital
roll
velocity,
control
which
thrusters,
is
and we'll see
roughly
those in
8
action
kilometers per
as well
second,
today,
or
as that
about
was a
5
Flight
miles
3
per
learning
second.
that worked
Now,
better
at
on
those
Flight
speeds,
4,
pretty
and
fast.
still
The spacecraft is moving through the atmosphere
Starship has passed through 85
rather
kilometers
quickly,
altitude.
and
Flaps
that
now have
results
control
in
of the vehicle.
friction, as we can see that starting to
Great call out,
happen
as
on
Kate
our
mentioned,
screen, and
flaps
this
are
creates a
controlling
plasma
the
field
attitude of
around the vehicle.
And I love these views because
That
it looks
blanket
so
of
calm.
plasma distorts communication
Everything is
frequencies,
relative,
so
right?
it's
So
not
relative to
uncommon
this camera
to
on the ship, it
experience
looks so calm
brief
and smooth.
blackouts
The vehicle
in
is traveling
communication.
extremely fast. You can see the speed on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Starship is designed to land on Mars
Starship is
where there are
approaching
no
the peak heating
runways
phase
or
of
other
entry.
humans to help out. So we also want rapid reusability. So we're doing propulsive
And we just heard
landing
we're getting
instead of a
into
more
the
traditional
peak heating
means
phase.
like
We're getting
parachute.
these views
And so we will
courtesy
use
of
the engines
Starlink. We've
on
got 4
this vehicle
different
to help slow the
terminals
vehicle
on
down
the
for a
ship
vertical
itself.
landing.
Yeah.
It's what's
Now,
really
entry
allowed us
is
to
going
get
to
real-time
basically
data
happen in
during
5
what's
phases.
otherwise been
The
just
first is low drag
a
that
mystery
lasts
box
for about
essentially
3
for
minutes.
spacecraft
Next
design,
is high
when you're
heating,
re-entering
and
through
that
the atmosphere.
beginning when
at least
heating increases.
getting anything in real time
above
hasn't
the
ever been possible
heat
before,
rate breakup
but we're
limit.
able to not just get
that
these views,
lasts
but
for about 10
real-time
minutes.
telemetry
We then
from the
have
ship
high
as it's
dynamic
coming
pressure.
through.
Starship will continue to slow down and
do
experience increased
really want to
aerodynamic
stress
loads
that
during that
we are
phase.
really
and that will
pushing
happen
the ship
before
today.
reaching Mach 1.
The heat
about a
shield
minute
is
after.
not in the same
Approaching the
configuration
peak
as it
heating
was
phase of
last
entry,
flight,
remains on a nominal
where
trajectory.
we had a team of ship
Okay,
techs
so that was
do
phase
just
2
an
that he just called
otherworldly
out
task
that I was
replacing
mentioning.
the
After
entire
peak
heat
heating
shield,
is that dynamic pressure
thousands of
around
tiles,
Mach
installing
1,
a backup
and that
ablative,
will
and that
last about a minute
pretty much
after
set us
leaving
up
the
to do a
hypersonic
pinpoint
area,
landing
and then we
on
go into
Flight 5.
subsonic.
We did
and then,
not
of
do
course,
that with this
landing
one.
burn. Wow,
We
what
have
an
some
incredible
backup
view.
in those really sensitive areas around
The
the flat,
colors are
but this
so
is an older
amazing,
generation
and
heat shield.
The colors actually also
And
tell you a little bit
knowing
about
we
the
weren't going to do
temperature
that,
the
we even
vehicle is
went
seeing
and
as well.
removed
So I think
some
that's
extra
pretty cool that we
tiles.
get this
There are some missing
amazing
tiles on the
live
nose
visual.
cone.
Live, speaking
testing
of live
some
visual,
backups.
the flap,
There are some steel
we have
covered
more
tiles
views,
in a
more
couple of
cameras
different spots,
on board
and
Starship,
there's also
as Dan mentioned
a
a
whole
few
lot
minutes
more
ago.
steel of the ship showing.
We are
as
hoping that
you guys
all
talked
4
about,
flaps
we gave it a little bit
will
of a
stay
haircut,
more
a
intact
couple
than they
hundred
did last
tiles,
time. We did make some
trimmed off the
changes to the
sides, and
design
that's
in
where
order
we
to
might
help
have
enable
test
this.
Starship is
in the
now
future, but
experiencing peak heating.
color's
remains on a
starting to
nominal
come
entry
in, so it
trajectory.
looks like things are going to start heating up, Kate and Jesse.
Great news
Yeah,
there.
fun fact, Dan,
that
we actually
Starship is
removed
continuing along the path
2,100
that we
heat shield
intended it
tiles
to fly.
from Starship in order to
keep track with how
basically
fast it's
present
going
that
and
necessary
how high
receding
it is
line, which you
above
kind of
Earth
can see
using
there in your
the
view.
display
Think back
that
to
is there on
previous
the
flights.
bottom right-hand
The
side of
heat
your
shield
screen.
line came up further on the vehicle, and just like Dan said,
This
we
is
want to
where we're
test
really
the
gonna
vehicle
see a lot of those
beyond what we
improvements
think
from
it is
Flight 4
capable
really coming
of
to
carrying
action,
based on
is
our
you
simulations
guys
and
kinda talked about,
calculations.
so it's called the
So
static
once again,
arrow. Those
to
are kind of the
just
poke out
be
points
super
on
plain,
the flaps.
don't be surprised
Those
if
get
we see
exposed to
some
pretty
wackadoodle
extreme
stuff
heat
happen here.
environments, so we added some
We won't be.
basically
There are a number
made
of
it a
things
lot
that
more
we are
robust
testing
for the
out
thermal protection
intentionally
there.
to
And
see
we
what the
learned
ship can
not just
take.
from visuals
Yeah,
and stuff
exactly. And
like
knowing
that.
what
We
those
had
limits are
those
will
missing
really
tile
help
tests
us
on Flight
design
4
the
where we
vehicle
intentionally
of the
left them out
future.
and kept in
Essentially, removing
some
those tiles helps
backup
us remove
layers.
a lot
They're
of weight
called
from the
ablators,
vehicle, a
which
lot of
means they
things that
just
might potentially
gradually
need
melt away to
refurbishment in the
help
future.
dissipate the heat.
And the goal
And we've
is to
got
come
an
up with
entire
a
layer
heat
of
shield
ablative
pattern or
underneath the
design
tiles on this-
that we
on this
don't have to
Starship today.
refurbish.
So
We can just
even
continue to
if
use it over and
you
over
get
again,
a
and
gap in a
that's why
tile or a
we're
tile
changing some of those
broken or anything
tiles
like
and
that, we've got
moving stuff
usually
around,
backup
removing a
options.
lot of
And
those
what we're
tiles,
really trying
as
to do
Kate has been
today
mentioning.
is
Exactly. And,
do
looking
an
forward to the
on-target
Starship
landing.
capability
As
of
we
the
lost
future, we want to be able to
the
catch
flaps, you lose a
Starship
lot of your
like we
control, and so
do
we
with
didn't land right
boosters.
on
And so
target
the
last
next flight,
This
we
time
want to
we're
better
trying to
understand
really nail the
where we
target,
can install
within
catch
just
hardware,
tens of
not
meters.
necessarily to actually do the catch, but to
and
see how
that'll
that
just be a
hardware
really
holds up
huge
in
step
those
on
spots.
feeling like
And
we're
today's flight will
closer
help
to
inform
bringing a ship back.
does the stainless steel
obviously,
hold up
there's a lot
like
of work
we
before
think
we
it
get
may
there,
based on
but
experiments that we conducted on
just caught a
Flight
booster.
5? Now continuing to
We're gonna
look,
start looking
amazing
real soon
views.
at when
Yeah,
we
Dan,
can
go ahead.
catch a ship.
No, I was just gonna say, like, there's so much on this flight that we're
So
doing
the view
to try
on your
and,
left is
make
as a
all the
helicopter
ships
passes
that
by
we're about
Dan,
to start
down at
flying even
Starbase.
better. Just really
The
understand
view
what their
on your
capabilities
left
are gonna
is
be.
a camera
We've
that's
got
positioned
kind
near
of the
the
next gen
nose
ship
of
lined up for
of
Flight
the
7.
ship,
It's got
looking
all of those
basically
heat
down
shield upgrades
toward
and
the flap.
everything.
The view on
and one
the
of the
right
things that
is
we're going to be
looking
doing that's
perpendicular to the
most
flap. So
interesting,
we're
and
looking
one of the reasons
basically
we want
bird's
to
eye view
daylight is
onto
we're
the
going to
flap
be
on the left-hand
flying
side,
pretty
and then
aggressively
a
as
worm's
ship
eye
comes
view,
in. We're
from
going to
the
be kind of
side
nose
with that
down.
view on the right.
And we've done it in wind tunnels. We've done it in simulations.
Yeah, sorry
you might
about
see
that,
the
guys.
flaps
Maverick just
really
buzzed the
flapping
tower.
around trying to control the vehicle.
He might be
we're
coming
betting
back,
we might have a
so-
little bit more capability than we think in just the analysis. But
Now these views
always a chance that bet
brought
doesn't
to
pay
us
off.
by Starlink.
But
It's
that just
incredible
helps
that
us
we
know,
have
like,
this
what are our
high
limits.
Starship is
definition
now halfway through
capability.
the
In
peak
fact,
heating
that
phase of
view on
entry.
the left.
Starship is now
Halfway there,
through
halfway
the
home,
peak heating
guys.
phase of entry, remains on a good trajectory.
Yeah, and if you guys again can follow along with the
So
altitude
great
and the
news there,
speed
hearing
of
that we're
ship
about
as
halfway
it's
through
making its way back down to Earth,
the
bottom
peak
right-hand
heating
corner
phase,
of
like
your
I said,
screen.
earlier this
Speed
last,
is still
roughly
going really,
10-ish
really
minutes.
fast. Again,
And we did hear
as
earlier
it gets
that the
closer
flaps
to
have
Earth,
control of the
we'll
vehicle,
see that
so
altitude
also
drop a little
good
bit
news
faster.
there.
It's kind of dropping pretty
it is
slow right
incredible
now.
that we've basically
And
had
again, as we
views
get
the
closer and
entire
closer
time.
to literally the surface of
memory
the
did
water,
black out
then
a
we'll
little
start to
bit
see that
after
speed
booster
pick up.
touch, so I think we
And
have
if we
views.
can make it through
But,
this
all through the
re-entry,
coast phase, we had
we
some
will attempt to
beautiful
do that
views
flip
of
maneuver
planet
once
Earth
again and
behind
splash
the
down in
ship
the
as it
ocean.
was in its
Exactly.
orbit.
Yeah.
Like we've
And
been
I
saying,
also do want to
we
point
are
out on your
testing
right-hand screen,
beyond
we've got,
the
a more
perceived
encompassed
limits
view
of the
flap.
vehicle.
As we watched
we
in Flight 4,
want to go learn
the
more
hinge
about the
area
ship, and
was
this is a
the
great opportunity
area
to
where
do
we got
that.
a
So
little
really
bit of that
pushing
burn
the flight
through. This
hardware
view,
in a
this new
flight
camera view on the
environment
ship will
to help
us be
inform
able
these
to
future
visually
designs.
see more of what's happening
As
in
we've
that
mentioned,
area.
it has a different heat shield. This heat shield is
heating tiles, and so
not
hopefully
the same
we've protected
generation
the
as
hinge
what we flew
a lot
last
better
time.
this
This one is one generation older.
But again,
so,
these views are
we are also testing out new
additional,
secondary thermal protection
to the data that
materials.
we get on
so
these
basically,
flight
like
tests
if
that
the heat
help
shield isn't
enable
in
us
this
to
one
kind of
spot,
put the
can this
data
other
that we get in the
material
computer,
protect the metal?
to the
Is the
visuals that we
thinking
see
there.
and try and align those
Also,
and
checking
use that
of
for
the ship's
improvements in the
structural
future.
strength
Now, we
in
heard a
those
call out
areas
there
where we're
saying
looking to
that
add that
engine chill
ship
has
catch
begun.
hardware
This
just
is
to
an
see if
indication
it
that
survives
we are
entry.
starting to
so,
flow a little
yeah, as
bit
we've been
of
saying,
the,
we've done
super cold
a lot of
liquid
calculations
oxygen
and
through,
simulations.
the hardware,
this view right
through the
here
Raptor
is
engine,
super cool. This is
specifically the
looking
turbopumps,
out
to help
from
ensure
the
that
aft
the
engine
hardware
bay,
is
basically
at
at
the
the
right
bottom
temperature,
of Starship.
before we
then
give
on
a full
the
push,
center
a full
left-hand
flow of propellant
panel,
at
if you
engine
will,
startup.
we have one of
So
the
all of that to say,
forward
we are getting
Starship
closer
flaps.
to the landing
Flaps are
zone.
flaps located at
We
the
definitely
top
are,
of
and
the
again, if you
vehicle.
look at your
Underneath
the bottom
that is
right-hand
one
of
of
your
the
screen,
aft
you can see the
end
altitude
flaps,
that the ship is,
like
and
the
it
one that
has
we see
been
in the main picture
slowly
there on the
making
right-hand
its way
side of your
closer and
screen.
closer to Earth.
Now, these
We're
views
currently
as
at
the
about
vehicle
63
continues to
kilometers
enter
from
the Earth's
planet
atmosphere,
Earth.
drawing
You'll
a
see
crowd
that
once
number,
again here at
trend
SpaceX and
lower
Hawthorne
and
as
lower as
folks
we get
tune
closer
in as
and,
the
continue
mission
through this
continues
re-entry.
on.
Yeah, this
Now,
is going to
the
go
next
on for
event
a
that we
little,
have coming up,
actually a while longer.
we should
have about
hear
10 minutes
the
or
call
so,
out
roughly,
that the
before
vehicle
we
is
execute
transonic
the
around
landing,
T
the
plus
ignition
1
for the
hour
landing
and
burn,
2 minutes or
starting
so.
with the landing
That
flip.
means that the
So
vehicle
we're making a
is
controlled
traveling
re-entry. This
near
is one
the
of
speed
the
of sound.
primary
We
objectives
say
for Starship
near the speed of
today
sound
is to
because there's certain
demonstrate
parts of the
another
vehicle where
controlled
airflow
re-entry,
is
even
going
more
faster
controlled
and
than
other
what we
parts
saw
where
on
it's
Flight
going
4.
slower. So
And
it
so
kind
far,
of teeters
that is
there on
looking
the
good.
brink of the speed of sound. So once we have equal flow on all parts, then we'll hear it's subsonic.
As we start to
Yeah,
really
and
get
I-
lower,
and
we're gonna
almost
start
real quick,
seeing
almost
the
a reverse
atmosphere's
of.
effects
I'm
start to
sorry,
take place,
Jesse.
and
Almost a
that's
reverse of before we
when
see
we'll
the Earth
start
starting to come
we'll
into
be
view.
dropping our
We've
speed
got
down
we've got sunrise
closer
there
to the speed of sound.
over
You'll see
the
the
Indian
flaps start
Ocean.
to
So this
maneuver.
is going to look different from any of the re-entries
we
we've
were
had
able
before.
to do a landing burn
and
on
it was
Flight
specifically
4,
so
which
like we get as
kinda
much
caught all
daylight
of
as
us
possible to
off
see how
guard.
ship
It
does
was pretty
this.
incredible after seeing the flaps
Over to you,
survive
Jesse.
through.
Sorry about that.
And we're
Dan,
gonna
you
try and
great
do
minds
another
think
one
alike.
on
That's
this
exactly
flight
what I was going
today.
to point
We
out, is
tweaked it
that
a
we're
little
getting a
bit,
lot
so
clearer
we're gonna
view of
try
the
and
Earth in the
splash down
background
at
with
a little bit of a
the different
gentler
temperatures
angle,
that we're seeing
this
with the
time
different
instead of
colors
just kind of hit
of
the
that
water
plasma
and
around
fall
the
over.
ship, which is really,
And
really cool
the
to
goal
see.
with that is
Again,
try and keep the ship intact,
we
and then
are
if we're
pushing the
able to
limits of
then
ship
get some
today,
additional video of
but
it,
so
again,
far
that's
everything
just
is
more data,
looking
and
pretty nominal.
everything
We'll
we
see
can
how the
see,
next few
everything
minutes
we can
goes.
get
Yeah,
extra,
like
a
we've said
couple
before,
extra
don't be
seconds or minutes
surprised
of
if
data
this is
coming
not
from the ship after
entirely
splash
smooth
altitude
sailing
heating
all the way
flight,
down to
approaching
the
maximum
ocean
entry dynamic
surface.
pressure.
Similar to Flight 5, we are targeting
All
the
right,
same
we're
splashdown
through
location
peak heating.
in the
Coming up
Indian
is
Ocean,
basically
but we
max
are
Q
not
part 2,
expecting to
where
recover the vehicle.
we're gonna
Right,
hit
and we were
kind of
getting
that-
some
that part
glimpses
the
of the
curve where
flaps. The flaps so
we're still
far
moving really
are
fast,
looking pretty
and
good.
the
We're not
atmosphere is
seeing
just dense
any
enough
burn
that
through.
we're
There's
feeling-
those flaps
feeling
again
the most pressure,
in that hinge
but
area, which is
hopefully
our
we're
most
gonna start
concerning
feeling a little
area
bit less
there.
heat now.
That's great news for us for now. Again, the next few minutes could change as we continuously push those limits. More views of each of the
Yeah,
flaps
once
on
we
the ship
slow
as it's
down
making its
a
way
little
back
bit,
down to
once we're
Earth.
subsonic essentially, so I think that's about 1,200 kilometers an
And
hour.
we did pass through
Once
peak
we're down
heating
below
and still
that, that's
got
when we're
really
going to
good
kind of
views
dip
throughout
our
that
nose
whole
down
period. Typically,
and get that
during
more
the
aggressive
highest
angle of attack.
heat
Normally we're
on
just
the vehicle,
belly flop
we
right into
tend
the
to build up
water,
a
pretty
lot
much
of plasma,
that
and that's
position.
typically when we
But
would
if we're going to be able
lose,
to do return to
connection,
launch sites,
or views
we're going to
of
want
the
to be able
vehicle.
to
But
fly
again, with
with a little
Starlink,
bit more
we
of
were
an
able
angle
to
of
get some
attack,
live
get you a
views
little
throughout
bit more
that
range
entire
as you're
process
coming
there.
through. And so this will be just a test to see quite how far can
And
we
we're
push it.
coming up.
But obviously
We'll
we're
start
going to do
hearing a
these
couple
kind
more
of tests
milestones in about
way out
4
here in
minutes or
super
so,
remote
when
areas
we start
before
getting down
you ever
to
try to bring a
transonic
ship back to a place
subsonic,
like
when we're-
Starbase.
Starship
we're
remains on a
starting to
good
move
entry trajectory.
closer to and
External
beneath
temperatures
the
are coming
speed of
down.
sound. And
All right, great news
I
there.
think
That tells
we're
us that
getting
we are
live views, we're
through
getting live
the
data. We've
phase
got a
of
couple
peak heating.
additional
So
tests
we
on
are
this one
expecting
today, where we left off some
these
missing
temperatures to
tiles
continue
again
to come
to-
down.
to
Once
test
again,
some
we
additional
are
backup
targeting
layers.
a soft
We
splashdown
also
in
have,
the
I don't know
Indian
if we can
Ocean
still quite see them in this view,
around
but you may
the
have
off
noticed we
the
had
northwest
some
coast
kind of silvery looking
Australia.
tiles
We can see
on
beautiful
Starship
views
as
of
well.
planet Earth
And
coming
those
in. Yeah, this is
were
very different, where we
pretty much
had
standard tiles, but
nighttime
they were wrapped in
views
aluminum,
of
and it
the
was
ship
a
as it was
pretty
re-entering. And now we've got
simplistic,
daylight. It is about an hour
straightforward
or
one where
so after
aluminum starts
sunrise
to melt
there
at
in the Indian
roughly
Ocean.
the same
So
temperature
pretty
where
cool to see
steel
this.
starts to lose
Yeah,
its
and it might
strength,
not seem like it makes a
necessarily
huge
melt.
difference, but we do get a little
So
bit more
if
light on ship as
if we
well
see
for the
stuff
camera
melting,
views that we
we
have,
know
which is very beneficial for us to visually see
know what our steel's
anything
gonna be
and
exposed to,
try
but,
and correlate that to any of the
59
sensors
minutes
or
since
data
launch
that we
should be
have
coming
on the
up on-
vehicle.
Exactly.
on
That
transonic
is
and
why
everything,
we
just about
shifted
3
our
minutes.
launch window so that we could have that daylight in order to
Now, the views
improve
here,
our
we
observations
have
of the
coverage
vehicle.
of all
so not
4
only are we
flaps.
getting all the raw data
We can
from all the
see,
sensors that are on
so for
board
those that perhaps
Starship,
didn't
but
catch
we also
a glimpse
have
of the
multiple
vehicle before
cameras and
liftoff, there
assets
are
out
2
there
flaps
that
at the
are
forward
watching
end
the vehicle and will
2
also be
flaps
able
at
to
the
tell us
aft end.
with this
The
visual
larger
story that
camera
is
view
also
that
very,
is
very
there
important.
on the right-hand side of your screen, that
And
is a
as
view
we
of
get
one
down
of the
a little
aft
bit
end or the
lower,
bottom
the Raptor
end
engines
flaps.
are in their chill phase right now.
We can
so
start to see
just
some
essentially
heat
getting
buildup
them
and peeking
primed to
through
turn on.
one of the
We're
flaps
gonna
there in
use
the top
those 3
left-hand
center
corner
engines
of your screen.
to do a landing flip and then a landing burn. So we'll come down kind of in that slightly pointed down belly flop and then fire off those engines to flip us around.
Once again,
and
Starship
then do that
now
final landing
at
burn.
T
That should be
plus 1
coming up
hour
in just a little
9 seconds
over,
into
just under 5
its flight
minutes from
today,
now.
re-entering
And
the
then
Earth's
hopefully we start hearing
atmosphere.
some call outs
Currently
on
about
transonic and
45
subsonic as we
kilometers
slow
above
down.
the surface
Again,
of the Earth, now
once you
44.
hear Starship as
We are
subsonic,
targeting a
keep
soft
a close eye on the
splashdown
flaps.
in the Indian
They're going to
Ocean,
be working
about,
overtime essentially to maintain
northwest-ish
control of the
of
ship
Australia,
as we get a little
and
more aggressive
we are
with this.
attempting to, as we did on Flight 4, make a perform a flip maneuver as well as
Starship is at maximum
We can
entry
see
dynamic
that
pressure.
we are
Remains on
beginning.
Starship has passed maximum entry dynamic
All right,
pressure.
so that is great news there. Like Dan
All right,
said
great call
earlier,
out there,
this is
but we
basically
can see
max
on this view
Q
here that
part
we do
2.
have some heating
So
there
this is the
on that looks like
greatest
one of
amount
the forward flaps on
of
Starship.
aerodynamic loads
This is
that the vehicle will
to be
experience
expected.
during
We
its
knew
flight,
that
coming
the
back through
vehicle
Earth's
would
atmosphere.
perform differently
It was,
than what we
above
had
the Earth's
seen
atmosphere
on
in
Flight
space
5.
where there was
This
no friction.
is
We can
actually really
obviously
good
see,
data because it tells
heat
us
as a,
what parts of the
evidence of that
vehicle
friction
at
buildup.
this
The atmosphere is
what
actually
will
helping to
soon be
slow
a
the
higher
vehicle
angle
down.
of attack
If you're
once we
watching
drop
the
down
telemetry in the bottom
below
right-hand
the speed of
side,
sound.
right-hand corner
We'll have a
of your
higher
screen,
angle of
see that
attack, meaning
speed
we're going to be flying
decelerating
hose down,
rapidly.
basically. So yeah, this is good news, but we can actually, looks like that heating is starting to cool off there.
Yeah, it's a little burn through.
Now, the 4
Again, it is
flaps
important
on the
to
ship
note
help
when we
steer
start
the
seeing
vehicle,
that
and one
through
of the
the
main
ship's
objectives
descent
for the
as
ship
well.
today
So, like Kate
is
was
to
saying,
demonstrate
we're getting some really good
controlled
data here.
re-entry,
Looks
during
like
this phase of
the
flight,
other
this
flaps
re-entry phase.
are doing a little better than the one that has a little burn through, which is some
we
good
have
news.
6 engines
Again,
on ship,
constantly
but we
watching.
only
We've
need
got
3 of them, the 3
a couple minutes
sea-level
until we're
engines.
expecting
we will
to make
have
it all
that
the way
flip
back down
maneuver
to Earth.
happen very close to
Exactly.
touching down
And
for
like we
splashdown.
said before,
we'll do that flip maneuver,
we
ignite
are
those
not
engines,
expecting to
slow
recover the
vehicle
ship,
down
although
immediately,
that would be
and
great.
then hopefully
That'd be a
have
nice bonus if it
what we
happened,
call a
but
soft
it's not
splash.
really in our
What we call a
expectations
soft
today.
splashdown in the water.
We really want
It's
to
probably
push the
gonna feel
hardware,
a
as
little
we've
bit
been
harder,
saying.
on the top
But
of the
really,
surface
the
of the water,
telemetry
but
and the
it'll
data
look pretty
and
gentle.
the
And like
video
we
that
said
we
earlier,
receive
we hope
all the
to have
way
some
to
more
the end
views, even
is
of that
truly what we're
phase
looking
of the
for,
flight.
and will help
So fingers
inform
crossed
the
that
future
we can,
designs of this
we
vehicle.
can bring those to you.
We can see some
we
flap
are,
movement as the camera is
hoping to
moving
splash down
around.
softer than we
That's
did
what you're
last
seeing
time
there
on
is
Flight
the
4.
flaps adjusting.
Right now,
we have a
Starship
camera on
continuing to
one of the
make its
flaps there.
descent back
That's
to
where
planet
Is
Earth.
at
this is the
Mach 2,
view that you're
remains on a
seeing
good
there.
trajectory.
All right, great news there. That tells us that the vehicle
And you can also see
is
the graphic in the
traveling
bottom.
twice
Starship
more
is
than-
slowing
or
down
is traveling
past Mach
twice the
1.
speed of sound. So we will then,
And
the next call out
Call
that
outs
we'll hear
aligning
is
with this.
that
You can
it
see the
is,
orientation of the vehicle
traveling
starting
about the
to
speed of
change. You
sound.
can follow that
And then we
graphic
will
at the
hear a
bottom of your
call out that
screen.
it is- that will be the call
Again,
out
that is
it
why
is
those flaps
transonic,
are
and then we
changing.
will
They
hear
control the
another call
orientation
out
of the
saying
vehicle.
that it is subsonic, meaning
Yeah,
going
there are
slower
four.
than
this
the
is-
speed of
Go ahead,
sound.
Starship has started the subsonic barrel drop, remains on a
There
good
it is. So
trajectory.
at this
I was going to say this is when things
So at this
will
point in time,
start to get a little interesting.
we
So
say
this is when
transonic
we're
because certain
moving
parts
slower
of the
than the
vehicle,
speed
like
of sound.
the flap
You can
that
see
you
that
see
nose
on your
slowly
screen,
start to tip
might
down.
be experiencing
We're
airflow
going to try and maintain
faster than
flight
the speed
control
of
the whole away. So we're just a couple minutes away from hopefully doing a
Parts
landing
of the
flip.
ship may be experiencing
Landing flip
airflow.
and landing burn if the flaps can hold together.
Yeah, this is
All
such
right,
a
so now
cool
the
view.
entire
This
vehicle
reminds
is
me
traveling slower than the speed of
when we
sound,
first
so
performed
subsonic.
the belly
The
flap
crowd
maneuver
here at Mission
on the
Control
high altitude
Hawthorne
test with
also
serial
getting
number
excited,
8.
just like
We
us.
saw
We're
the
awaiting,
ship come back through,
a
and I always
water landing. We are
wondered what
gonna
it looked like
reignite
from
the
the
three
ship's
engines to
perspective, and
perform that flip
this
maneuver,
perspective I
and
think helps
we're
inform that.
basically,
We will be, as Dan
about
said,
a
we will
minute
be
and a half,
dipping
wow,
down a
away
little
from
further
the
and
landing
really
flip.
be flying nose first.
Yeah, the crowd's getting
this higher
excited
angle
here
of
as we get
attack.
closer and
You know,
closer
we're
to
intentionally
splashdown.
doing it to
Again,
stress
just about
those
a minute
aft
away
flaps,
from the expected
and that will
splashdown,
help
so we should
inform the
see a
limits
lot
of
happening,
flat control in order
coming
to
up here
collect data
shortly.
for future
We're
landing profiles.
currently having a view of one of the flaps, and it is a little bit dark on your screen, but hopefully we'll get some good views
I mean,
of
we're
the ship
looking good
as
so
it makes
far.
that flip
We've
maneuver
just got about
and,
5 kilometers in
touchdown
altitude
for
to go.
splashdown.
Yeah,
Guys,
we'll
we
ignite the
saw
engines
that-
when we're
we
still
saw
just a
that
couple
speed
hundred
drop like a
meters
rock, so
over the
basically
ground.
we're
Do
doing
that
a
flip.
belly
Starship
flip
Flight
right
through
now.
5
Or a belly
kilometers
flop
altitude
right now.
remains on a
That's
good
kind of neat. If you
trajectory.
saw the high
I have a
altitude
feeling this is going to
campaign,
look so
that's
cool
the
as it
neat
passes
thing
through
about
the
how
clouds.
Starship comes back. So we've bled off pretty much all of the speed
Obligatory
we're going
shout
to. We're
out to the
essentially
entire
at terminal
avionics team on
velocity.
Starship.
And there's that nose down orientation.
5 to go. Coming up soon. Landing burn.
Now the Raptor engines will relight and help flip the booster back up. This is a more severe flip given the orientation. The engines will shut down prior to the water making impact, prior to the vehicle making impact with the water.
Our ship is doing great so far. There's those engines relighting.
What a great reorientation by Starship.
Wow.
All 3 down to 2 into the water.
Wow.
And we have ship splashed down in the Indian Ocean.
Some awesome buoy cam action here. Daylight views.
Incredible. We've really pushed the limits on ship and made it all the way back down to Earth.
I am shocked, to be honest. I think many folks are. The fact that it survived all the way through while flying a lesser gen heat shield is just absolutely incredible. And turns out the vehicle had more capability than our calculations predicted. And that is why we test like we fly.
Exactly why we do that. And those views were absolutely incredible to watch. Because of Starlink, we were able to get the views all the way down, as well as the buoys, seeing ship touchdown in daylight.
So cool, so cool. Now, we want to, unfortunately, wrap up the show.
Yeah, exactly. We'll say congratulations to our teammates at SpaceX and to everyone who supported the Starship program. And thank you to all of our future customers for your support.
We'd also like to thank the people of Cameron County, Texas, as well as the Coast Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration, the Government of Mexico, and the Australian Space
Pretty
Agency.
specific spot, so wow.
Be sure to...
What a day. I feel like that's all, that's what I get to say. What a day. I mean, everything started off today.
Hey guys,
with
I could
that
take
launch.
it from here. That was just
we were
incredible
able
to
lift
see
off
that
towards the end of our
splashdown.
window,
As you said, thanks to everybody that
7:25
took
Central
such a
Time.
huge part in this. Everybody
33
here at Starbase that's worked on this
Raptors, no
program,
uphill,
just really pouring their lives into it.
stage, booster
Great to
came
see another
back,
booster
watched
lift
it
off.
come
We'll catch
down
it the next time.
right
Great to
behind us,
see ship in the
watched it
water.
get caught.
New version of ship coming soon,
And that,
so
like,
a lot
that
more
broke
exciting
my
launches
brain for a
coming up
while.
real
I'm
soon
really
here
happy
from
we had
Starbase.
those for a bit,
But
that's
I'll send
first
this
ever
out this
booster
time. We'll see you guys
catch,
next time.
Major step on the way to rapid reusability, and ship
Awesome.
just
Thanks,
gave us
Dan.
one heck of a
Be
show,
sure to
making
follow
it through a
SpaceX on X for
controlled
updates
re-entry
and
this
more
time,
exciting
flaps
views
intact,
that we
made it down to
weren't
the
able to
water.
feature on today's broadcast.
I'm sure there will be plenty of those.
Starship's about to fly.
Now, thanks to all of you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.